Hello, everyone. This is Mahlena Ray Johnson with Write Your First Book with Mahlena. And this video is on I Love the Simpsons Because You Hate Yourself. I watched The Problem with Apu on truTV. That is a documentary that just came out last night because it's November 20th, 2017 right now. And it's a documentary that came out last night on truTV by Harry Kondabalu, where he explores literally the problem with Apu, who is a character on The Simpsons, and he interviews various people and talks about it and focuses a lot on Hank Azaria. Oh, geez. Okay. So, again, I'm supposed to introduce myself. I'm Mahlena. I run this. And if you are thinking about writing your first book, please keep watching, but type your notes in your phone, get a pen and a pencil, or paper and a pen or a pencil and a paper and notebook. Write something to write stuff down and write your notes down. And if you are watching this on a computer, then type as you watch this video. And who am I? I am Mahlena Ray Johnson yet again, and I went to Loyola Marymount for film school, and then I went to University of Southern California for my MBA in marketing, entertainment, and entrepreneurship. So I am immensely qualified to help you write your first book. Also, I'm working on my fourth book, Love It a Luau, back there. The other 3 books that I have written are on Amazon, so check them out. Just Google the first part of my first name, Mahlena, and everything should pop up. All right, so back to this documentary. So I have thoughts on this documentary that I wanted to share with you, and mainly encourage you to write your own stories, because that's the main takeaway that I got from this documentary, that there are over 1 billion Indian people alone in India. That does not include the other South Asian people of the countries around India. That does not include the diaspora of people from South Asian countries that are all over the world. And yet Apu is the first South Asian character that caused the mocking of so many of these actors that I'm seeing in this documentary. I'm pointing over here because that's where the TV is. But to me it felt like when I saw Bobby Lee from Mad TV talk about the effect that Long Duck Dong from 16 Candles had in his life, I was like, oh my gosh, that was the one, and there was nobody else, so that's what he got made fun of with. I was like, wow, that's really specific and sad. So let's go through each of the thoughts that I had while watching this. Well, the first one I had that I didn't put up there is that there's this guy who is sitting in this kind of round table. They're just sitting around a room, and he's sitting next to Aparna Nancherla, and he doesn't really get to speak, but I'd like to know who he is because I didn't really recognize him. But he should be in more shows that I'm watching because I enjoy his je ne sais quoi, his I don't know what. All right, so 1, I'm definitely not getting I'm definitely not getting into The Simpsons now, and I should really slow down as I speak. But I want to make this video short because I always like to make my videos short. So I first got introduced to The Simpsons when it came out. I think it was in 1989. I was 7, so I wasn't really watching, and then it was on, and people had the shirts and and the bootleg shirts that had Bart as a black character, not a yellow character. And then the next time The Simpsons really entered my psyche as like a thing was when we had to watch it in one of my advanced, or like, what is it called? Not like upper level college classes, in one of my film classes, and the professor who was running the class, I thought she was great, and she is great, and she introduced our class to things that we hadn't discussed in other film classes, and she used The Simpsons as an example of probably pastiche and postmodernism, and really got me thinking about The Simpsons and culture in ways that I hadn't. She also showed a film that I forget now, but it was the first time that it was something. Of course, these things just come to me, so I don't have time to research them. I'm like, I just gotta tell people. So there's this film It was about a woman who was a model, and she was parading on the beach with this white guy photographing her, and she was dressed like a zebra, I think, or a cheetah, and she's a black woman, and then she got suddenly like time traveled back into some slave times in some Caribbean island. And I remember that the person, one of the people she was speaking to, another black man, had to be subtitled, even though I could completely understand what he had to say. And Bill from Designing Women was in it, so I'll look it up because it makes it much easier to figure out. But either he or one of his co-stars was raping her, and then she got back to modern day and was like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't be a model on the beach. And then the reason I bring it up is because it was in the same class, and the other non-white person in the class, when I said to him, no one else had anything to say about this movie, because I had so much to say about it when we watched it together in class, and he was like, yeah, white people don't like to talk about that. He happened to be of Asian descent. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm definitely not getting The Simpsons now, because it was an idea like, oh, maybe I should get into it. And then I was like, no, because no. There's so much other stuff that I could watch that is not The Simpsons, that I maybe, after I've watched everything else in the world, then I'll get back to it. Okay, so Dana Gould, white male privilege personified. Now Dana Gould, I liked as a comedian. He's funny, but he in this documentary doesn't seem to grasp that that he has participated in something that has traumatized not only the people, the South Asian actors who appear in the documentary, but I'm sure thousands of South Asian people who grew up in America and had to be called a poo and had to be asked if they're going to the Quickie Mart. Like, he seems to think, oh, well, he's just another character. Here are the 4 reasons why they're funny. Here are the 4 reasons other characters are funny. And he actually compares Apu to Mr. Burns, and Hari has to explain to him, well, Mr. Burns is coming from a place of power. Apu is not. And Dana just doesn't like get it. He's like, well, it's the, do you want to eliminate a character that is beloved? I'm like, yeah, because he's not an okay character to have at all. But especially in 2017, it's not okay to have, like, and he doesn't even get, he's just like, well, he's a character on the show that's been around for, I don't know, over 20 years, then what will we do? Like, you really want to get rid of that character? And he doesn't seem to think, oh, well, maybe me as a white man, maybe you should not be talking to this brown comedian who's making an entire documentary about how he has been affected by this character. No, he just doesn't get it, and it's incredibly appalling, because it would be bad enough if it was just him, Dana Gould. But Dana Gould, if I am not mistaken, has 3 children that he has adopted from China. 3 little girls. I mean, they're probably not little anymore, but maybe as someone who has connections to actual people living in your family, you should think about, you should just think about it like, hello, duh. Okay. All right. So the third thing is 3, my South Asian characters better be on point. So the thing that I felt the most when I was watching this documentary, besides I was trying to figure out who that guy was who didn't get to talk that much, and the women could have talked a lot more. I would have appreciated more of them, and it was only an hour, so it would be lovely if this was a 2-hour documentary so I could see more of everybody, because they seemed like they had a lot of stuff to say that I didn't know about. They all deserve so much better. And I know that most actors deserve so much better, but realizing that they don't have that, when he said that, when Nari said that he knows most of the South Asian actors in Hollywood right now, and half of them were in this documentary, I was like, oh, wow. Because if I had a documentary and I had, like, let's say, like 20 Black actors in the documentary, I don't know any actual Black actors. I don't think so. I probably should figure that one out. But if I had them in, it'd be like, okay, here they are. And there's hundreds more. And they're not necessarily all working as they should be, but it could, if I had 20 Black actors, they just be like, yeah, we're doing this, we've done this, and people know who they are, and that's fine. But when you're talking about South Asian, admittedly, there are fewer South Asian Americans in the country than there are Black people. That is shifting a little. But the thing that I want to make sure in my writing, how this really affects me, because I really want to make this about me, is that I want to make sure my characters are on point, that the characters I have included in Love and a Luau, there are multiple South Asian characters. There's at least 3. There are going to be more. And I want to make sure that it's not like I want to make sure they know they're South Asian. It's just that I want to make sure that they're like fleshed out well. They're obviously not stereotypes because that's not what they're about, but I want to make sure that they exist and that when someone reads about them, they're like, oh, okay, huh. I could just be a normal person that's not really like, there's no convenience stores. There's doctors, but I don't think there's any doctors that have roles in my story. There's, I guess, those are the stereotypes I have. There is one person doing yoga, but that's not her main job. So yeah, I don't think I have to worry about stereotypes of South Asian people in my story, but I want to make sure that I am aware of presenting characters that are actual human beings, which is if I'm thinking about it, then it's probably not going to be an issue. So that is what I have to say about me and my experience with the problem with Apu. And I encourage you all to look at your writing and, most importantly, start writing those stories so that you have more representation of what you would like to see in the media, even if it doesn't get like huge. I mean, not everybody can be Star Wars, but you can start where you are and grow it. So if you have any questions, please email me at writeyourfirstbook@gmail.com or leave me a comment up here, or over there, or down there. And thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.